Snow crab was on sale this week, so I thought I'd make something special. I got a big bag of them for $30. There were always some smaller clusters and loose pieces, so I turned on one of my favorite movies, Persuasion, and set to cracking. I ended up with about 1.5 cups of crab meat. It's just me and my husband, so I made about 2 cups of rice in the rice cooker. In this video, I'll show you how to make a crab fried rice and a fresh hot sauce called Prik Nam Pla. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use a mortar and pestle to make this hot sauce, but if you don't have one, you can just use a good knife and a cutting board. I got this cute little set at my local Home Goods. It was under $10. You'll also need a little jar to hold your finished sauce, something with a good tight lid. The basic ingredients for this are lime juice, garlic, and fresh Thai chili peppers. You'll want some kitchen scissors to snip the peppers into thin little slices. You can chop them into bigger pieces if you don't want to eat the actual peppers. The chopped up peppers and crushed garlic will infuse the sauce with their heat over time. You can also add more chili peppers later if somebody uses them all. The next step is to add some lime juice. We're making a pretty small batch, so I just cut one small wedge off of the lime. Lemon juice would work too, but just don't use the stuff from the bottle. Crushing up the garlic is the next step. Put a tiny bit of sugar in the mortar and pestle, and then peel 1 clove of garlic. Crush it up into a fine paste, and then add that to the jar. You could also smash it with the back of the knife, or just cut it up into thin slices. I like a lot of garlic flavor in each spoonful, so that's why I always crush mine. If you were making a bigger batch, you could even process it in a blender or food processor. Next, I added some chopped cilantro and gave it a good stir. Some people omit the cilantro or just add a little bit before they use the sauce. It does tend to go brown after a couple of days. Add your fish sauce and that's it. Your hot sauce is all done. Keep it in the fridge and it'll last for about a week. Now on to the fried rice. I'm using snow crab, but you can also use blue crab meat or even fake crab. Anything will work. I used 2 cups of white rice already cooked and cooled, separated into 2 portions. You'll see why later. Here I have 2 tablespoons of chopped red onion, fish sauce and soy sauce mixed, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm using mushroom soy sauce, but if you don't have any, the regular stuff will do as well. It tends to make things much darker, so just keep that in mind if you do use it. In that little bowl, I mixed 1 tablespoon of fish sauce with 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce. You'll also need 2 eggs. I would normally cook this in a really hot wok much faster, but since it's for a video, we'll do it on the griddle. Over medium-high heat, get your pan good and hot, and then add the vegetable oil. Add your eggs and stir fry them until they're about halfway done. Add in half of the rice and sort of flatten it and fold it in with the eggs. Now this is where you would cook the rice through and make sure that it's the right texture. You're not just heating it up. You want to make sure that you bring out the nutty flavor of the rice as you stir fry it. Make sure you keep scraping up the bottom too. The little burnt bits are the best. Add in the onion after a couple of minutes of cooking. I chop it really small, so you don't really have to cook it long. You could also use yellow onion for this, or even chopped shallots. To incorporate the onions, just scoop it up from the bottom and fold them in. You don't have to do much to it, but you do have to keep the rice moving. After about a minute of cooking, flatten everything out into a single layer and pour on your sauce. Now you'll see just how dark this soy sauce makes it. This is why I separated out the rice into 2 portions. You want to get even coloring and seasoning across all of the rice. I sprinkled on some garlic powder and then folded everything in. Now if you have the time, you can achieve the same effect by cooling off all your rice in a big bowl. Season it all up in the bowl and then mix it with your hands. Then you just stir fry it already seasoned. To me, that's something I would do for a bigger batch of rice. Instead, for this smaller portion, I'm just separating out the rice, seasoning it, and then adding the second half. Fold it in well to incorporate it. When the rice is about where you want it, gently fold in the crab meat. Don't stir fry it too much, you don't want to break up the bigger pieces. The crab meat is completely cooked, so all you're doing is heating it through. And that's it, very simple fried rice. When you're using something as good as snow crab meat, you don't want to do too much to the dish. You could add vegetables to this, but I would use really neutral ones, like maybe peas or shredded carrot. I top this off with some fresh cilantro and then slices of cucumber and tomato. When you're having the fried rice as your whole meal, it's important to include something crunchy on the side like that. Remember that hot sauce we just made? Make sure that's on the table too. The flavor profile of the sauce is salty from the fish sauce, tangy from the lime, a tiny bit sweet from the sugar, and spicy from the chili peppers. I've already tasted the fried rice, so I know that I just want a drizzle of the sauce and a couple slices of peppers. My husband, on the other hand, likes things really spicy, so he drags a big spoonful off the top of the sauce and gets the fresh chili peppers. Now remember what I said about topping off the sauce. If somebody takes all of the peppers, just chop up a bunch more and add them to the jar. No harm, no foul. You may have noticed that I kept the crab meat in big portions, especially the snow crab legs. If I was cooking this for guests, I would top it off with a whole bunch of the crab meat so that people can see exactly what's in it. If you're not using real crab meat, don't worry. Fake crab meat is almost as good. I find that it's a little sweeter actually, and that real crab meat is just more briny. If you wanted to dress this up even further, you could top it off with a sunny side up egg. A runny yolk really elevates this dish. I really hope you give this recipe a try. Even though I use crab meat for this, it's the same basic principles for making any sort of fried rice. And as far as the hot sauce goes, it may become one of your favorite condiments. Have it on the table at mealtimes and see just how good it is with just about anything. Drop me a line in the comments and let me know what you think. Are you a big crab fried rice fan? Have you ever made Thai hot sauce before? I'd love to hear from you.